Okay, hello everyone. Probably we can start. Maybe it's Friday, so let's wait 2-3 minutes for those who are joining us. Hope you had great day and it's nice time to relax a little bit and talk about game testing. Let's wait and then we will let me introduce meanwhile myself. My name is Alina and today I will be coordinating our discussion with our game crew who will be with us today. And the agenda for today will be the discussion that we will have first part of our webinar. We've gathered the most common and the most popular questions our gamers usually, game testers usually receive from their friends, from clients, etc. And afterwards, feel free during the webinar to leave your questions in chat. So we will definitely be back to you at the end and answer them all. Okay, let's start. I hope everyone is with us. So let me introduce our game specialists who are today with us. They are Alex, Ivan, and Nazar. Guys are going to be speakers today and will share their experience, real experience, and insights about the real testing process, how it happens, and how it feels like to be a tester. So first of all, let me tell a little bit about Kiotis Lab. Maybe someone doesn't know what we do and who we are. We are independent testing and QA provider, and more than 5 years ago we started game testing, and it has become one of the most successful directions. Now we have 42 game testing professionals in our team and more than 500 successfully accomplished projects. During this webinar, we wanted to shed some light on the process of testing from inside, how it happens in real life. Also, you will find out what are the most common, the most unusual bugs, what is the difference between playing games and testing games. Guys will share how they do it, how their ordinary day looks like, and many more. So stay with us and let's start. Probably the first question will be the most common. How did you become tester? And was it your dream job, or it happened by chance? So guys, tell a bit like how it happened.
Okay, I will start. When I was a child, I saw a TV program about the game development. It was many information about roles in development, what game designer do, and also what game tester do. And when I was a child, it really was my dream job. You can just spend all day earning money and playing games. What could be greater than that? Couple years ago, I started learning programming at university, and I understood that programming is just not my thing. It's really boring for me. I saw Kiotis Lab courses, and I remember my dream job. I started learning from courses, and I started working as game QA, but I realized it's not just as easy as I thought it would be.
Cool. So you do what you planned to do and you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Great.
And hey to all. Actually, I don't have such exciting story as has Alex, but I'm also game tester. So my way was started since my technical background. I was some kind of technical specialist in, and also communication specialist in some of spheres, and I was working for a few years. And after such years, I decided to change something in my life globally, and became part of the biggest team of tester. And one of the ways it was to become a game tester. Also, I observed another ways such as to become a web and digital tester or e-commerce, but the game was the favorite one, so it was the final choice, and its choice didn't disappoint me actually.
Oh, that's perfect and fantastic. And guys, I know that you play like testing games and playing games not only at work and probably even after work. So, what are the most favorite games, genres, or characters of game testers?
Let me start. For me, now my favorite genre is MMORPG because I like to play in World of Warcraft, and as you can see, my flag
Yeah.
behind my back is a flag of Alliance, and I'm very happy to play in this game. So for now, it's MMORPG, but also I'm playing in action shooters like CS:GO and playing MOBA games like Dota or LoL.
Oh, wow.
Let me say a few words about the topic. Yes, I am totally agree with Nazar, but I have some other top of my game. I'm playing in two interesting games. One of them I've already finished. It's Metro Exodus. It's a kind of post-apocalyptic story about how do we handle some life after nuclear war or something like that. And another game, it's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I like them mostly about the stories about ancient Greece, about different interesting heroes. And it's a kind of time machine for all of us, how we can uh, uh, feel ourselves in Greece during two or maybe three centuries ago.
Oh, all of this, guys, sounds really fun and interesting. But maybe you had the situation. We know all these memes about like expectations and reality. Did you have it in your practice? So does it match uh, like what your were expectation before and what you have now? And is there any difference between playing games and testing games?
Definitely, there's between the difference game just playing or testing games because in just when you just playing these games, you relax, you don't do think anything at all, only about this game, and you play just in a straight way as you can see as you want. But if you are a game tester, you should check all angles in this game. You should check all game mechanics and so on. So also you should prevent some new bugs the user can find.
Mhm.
I totally agree with Nazar. You really need a real lot of attention when you are testing games, and when sometimes you try and just ask you guys play for a couple of hours and then give us your feedbacks about the game. It's really hard to forget about that you are a tester. You need to just play and enjoy it.
Oh, interesting. Thanks for sharing. And guys, it's you're used to like playing and testing games, but do you have any exciting testing experience, or maybe some the most unusual bug you remember and can share with us?
Yeah, actually, when I was starting my career of testing, we were testing some interesting game. It was a genre of hidden objects, but not classical, rather action hidden objects game with unusual plot and with some detective story, I would say. And during the test, it was evening, I would say. We finished one chapter and started another chapter. And as you know, between chapters, we have some kind of cut scene with promo video and some part of the plot. And during this scene, there was a guy, one of the main heroes, and he was shot by another guy. And during his falling, he was showing a hand, and on their hand there were only three fingers, and it was looking like reptiloid guy. And I was a little bit shocked. I was repeating at about 5, maybe 10 times, and the bug was reproducing all the time. And after that, there was another interesting bug in the same game when we entered to the house. We have seen rain around the rooms, but it was inside the house, and the rain was outside, and it was a bit unusual and also funny, something like that.
Interesting.
The most exciting bug. It's not really exciting, but I was excited very much of the way how it was fixed. It was in a very huge economic and military strategy. There was market carts which move resources from one castle to another castle, and as per documentation, the capacity of this cart is only 100 resources per one cart. And as I have found, the real capacity is 101 resource for each card. This bug was many attempts to fix it, but it was not fixing at all. So they decided to change the documentation, and for every card, the real capacity become and document capacity 101 resource. That's my story.
So the bug becomes some kind of
Yes.
feature.
Yes, this bug became a feature. Yes.
Okay. So this was about like exciting moments of about your work, but let's be honest. Probably you have not only fun, but probably you also have some routine systematization that usually work has. And how do you handle it? And how does your typical day looks like?
Okay, I will start. If anyone is ashamed to tell about a routine day.
Yeah.
No, routine days is usual for tester because we have a lot of regression. We need to restart a lot of the same test cases for every day. But for me, it's just like a challenge. So every day I need to keep focusing on the same test cases to keep the quality of the product high, because I'm really, really annoyed with the bugs when I found them in real games, which I buy for my money in Steam or in every other platform. And when I found in a bug, it's like, whoa, why QA haven't found it before me? It's really annoying. Why can't I just play and not found any bugs? Just when I'm playing, just when I'm trying to relax. So it's for me a challenge to keep the quality of the product high.
Oh, thanks for being honest. Let people know what they're going to get when they become game tester, not only just playing games.
In my experience, my typical day tells me that I should every day just check the task for my manager, and then I should explore this task and manage it between my testers, and then I should with them check this game and maybe found some interesting bugs or write some test cases and so on. So and also for me, QA is just not to find a bug; it's to prevent some not bugs, but unusual situation for users, and they should play this game with a good pleasure. Not only that the game wasn't in bugs, but also they should play without any why this work like that or like another.
So actually, there is place for being a manager, also being a QA, and in games, in something that it doesn't look really some serious, yeah. But we can be a manager and grow not only in testing but also in management skills. Wow, that's great. So if we are talking about something difficult, what is the hardest in game testing? Maybe there are some genres that are harder to test than others, or those that you don't like to test.
It's hard to say about the genres. I would say it's hard to play without documentation. When you have clear documentation, some checklists, some test cases, it's really easier to understand what the customer needs to test and what are priorities of the testing and so on. But on the other side, when we are using ad hoc testing, we can use our creative skills for finding some unusual bugs. Also, we can use some interesting tricks how to find out it, and sometimes customers really say us great thank you, because they even couldn't even imagine how we can find some bugs.
Oh. Well, so maybe you have some bugs, the most common bugs that you find more often than others. Like you see it and okay, I know about it.
The most common bugs for every game or for every app is crashes and freezes. Maybe sometimes when your mobile phone or your PC is just not enough to start this game and it's crashing on start, or some really critical bug in the code, so it's crashing or it's loading endlessly. I would say it's the most common bug. And not only games can be crashed at the start, but every application can be.
Also,
yeah, it's really useful, and it's really a population between other games. So crashes and stacks, I would say also.
Yes, I agree with them, but also I always find some localization bugs, misspelling, and so on. So they very often too.
So yeah, nice. And also, I wanted to ask about the devices, because I know that in our device list we have more than 250 devices, iOS and Android and PC. So what was the maximum number of devices you ever tested on within one game or within one project?
It was around 80 devices for the one game. Yeah, it was like compatibility testing and like playtest. You should spend from 15 to 20 minutes for one device, install the game, reinstall it, so see the game is deleted properly without any information saved on the device, and then just play for 5-10 minutes, see that the main functionality of the game is working, and just go take another device and repeat this. So it was, in my experience, yeah, it was around 80 devices for one test.
Wow, that's how did you handle it? All of them, and how long did it take to test all of them?
No, I have a lot of other QAs helping me. I was like QA lead in this project, and it's hard to tell how much time it took to just check it.
But still, yeah, that sounds really fantastic.
Yeah, maybe from 20 to 30 hours. I don't remember exactly.
Uh, Thanks for sharing. Actually, those were all the main popular questions we had prepared for the webinar. What we learned from 100,000 bugs reported and found while testing games. And maybe you have some questions. People who joined us today, you actually have an opportunity to ask questions to our QA, real people who are testing games within our company. So we're waiting for the questions. And by the way, guys, usually while we're waiting for the questions, usually we are reporting bugs and sending reports to our developers, though they would be the first people who will see them. Do you have any advice for them how to make their games better from the QA's point of view?
We have lots of them.
Okay,
Lots of
share.
advices.
You also have an opportunity to share. Maybe some developers joined our webinar too.
First of all, it's not to ignore our bugs, because it's really cool to have some feedback from developers. Also, it would be great when they won't use such kind of status as won't fix, because we want that every bug should be fixed. It's just for start. It's just for start.
So
Yes.
developers are procrastinators who don't want to fix it.
Yeah. And actually, it's good when we have some good communication with developers. It really helps to handle lots of bug and to handle it without delay, without any big period of time. And in such way, we can help to do development process with the highest quality.
Mm-hmm.
From my side, I have a few advices. The first will be not ignore documentation, because documentation is very important. They help us as QA to learn your game better and also find good bugs. And also, I will recommend if you have internal testers, sometimes give your product to the external testers, because they can find very interesting bugs. I think so.
Okay.
My colleagues have told a lot that I wanted to tell, but yeah, I want to repeat that the communication is a key, and if QA have any chance to speak with the developer, it's really great. You can ask a lot of questions, or with any QA from the developer side. It really helps to understand project better, to reduce time for finding maybe bugs they know and they would not fix, or to find something in their code. So yeah, when you have any chance to speak with a developer or with a QA from the developer team, it's really great.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot for sharing your insights and ideas. And we see that to play against games and to test them is a very different experience. Still, to become a good tester, you need to love games and to be at the same time to be detail oriented, to be curious, and to be a team player, probably, especially for games where you're not playing alone. Yeah, for a good result of the project in the end. And this way we can, and we testers and developers and clients will be happy. And I see that we already have questions. And the first one is, I have a mobile game. What is the minimum number of devices I need for testing, and what is the optimal one? From Kate. Okay, guys. How can I reduce the number of devices? So this is a question too.
First of all, you can just it will help you to reduce take devices with same resolution, and maybe this is the most. And don't know even.
And does it depend on some geography, I don't know, on the game or some genre or something? Is there any difference or it doesn't matter?
I think it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
If the minimum number of devices is one, so just look if it's starting on one platform. Yeah, if you just want the Android, for example, if you want Android and iOS, you need two devices for each platform. It's hard to say. The optimal one, it really depends on the market where you want to share your game and sell it. You need to really know which users' devices are using. So should we test any Samsung or maybe Huawei devices, or we don't need any of them? We need only the most popular brands. The optimal one is to test every Android version you want to support and really many device screen resolutions. So just to see everything works fine. Users can reach every button. Yes, there is no buttons. They are behind this, some other buttons or behind the screen border. So I would say the optimal one maybe it's from 5 to 20. It really depends what country you want to sell your game.
Also, in addition, I'm sorry. Also, in addition to my colleagues, I would say that it would be great to use some devices with not just different resolutions, rather different types of screens. I mean, different notches and other unexpected things which developers usually can skip and not to support.
And I see more questions about devices. So can we actually reduce the number of devices? And the next one, do we definitely need devices? Probably we already answered this question. And can we use simulators?
I really don't like simulators because with the simulators or emulators, you can not find bugs which will appear on real devices. I have this experience when we have bug reproducing on the device. We send in logs, we send in videos to the developer, and they're saying, "Oh, it's not reproducing in our device." We have a really big conversation about it, and at the end we knew that they're using emulator. They don't use the real device. We even asked the tester to check the same device and the same Android version, but from another location, and this issue reproduced. And the same can go the another way. The bugs which will appear on the emulator won't appear on the real Android device. So, and the same is for iOS. So I'd rather say if you have possibility to check the real devices, check on the real devices. Emulators and simulators can be relied at 100%.
I'm totally agree with Alex. There is only one thing which I can recommend to test on emulators. It's localization testing. That's all. Just texts and so on.
Okay. And the next question, I guess it's a bit tricky. How many projects do you have at the same time? Guys, how many projects do you have at the same time testing? Maybe you're testing now, something being in the background.
Usually we have 1 or 2 projects and handle with it with no any problems.
I would say not more than 5.
Okay. And one more question: where did you study? So some of the guys already answered this question, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe others will share what was the place where they got this education. Maybe home.
Yeah, as I told before, I studied at it's not university, it's academy, and I'm studying the programming, and my profession is program engineer. But as I told you before, I don't like programming. It's kind of boring for me. So yeah, I choose my way as a game tester.
Yeah. Nazaran, what was your profession?
My profession is electric.
Nice. You can come fix everything and then play with someone who's playing in this place.
So my knowledge is in university doesn't help me in the testing. So I learned it by myself, and just time helped me.
Okay, at least you have a funny story for this webinar. It's actually great. And guys, one more question I see is that we already have to finish this webinar. Like personal question, what do you actually do after work? Maybe some of your hobbies, some unusual hobbies, what you like to do.
Netflix and chill, something like that. And of course, playing games just to relax, not just to test it.
Yeah, relaxing games.
Yeah, relaxing game.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't be surprised that we are playing games after our job, so it's suitable for all of us. Actually, some of us, as am I, like to play football and watch football.
So you're a football fan. Okay. What's your favorite team?
Veres.
Okay.
It's all Veres, yes. It's our local team.
Uh-huh. Nazar, maybe you can share some unusual hobby.
Yes, and I also play in computer games. As I said, I like action shooters like CS:GO, and I watching some compete games and also playing in World of Warcraft, my favorite game.
Okay, guys, you're like even working after work, so sounds really like.
As I said,
We see your flag, so it's obvious. Okay, so it's 3 minutes past that time that we had to finish. If anyone has any questions left, you have 1 more minute to ask, and probably we will finish today's webinar. And while we're waiting for 1 more question, we wanted to. Oh, I see. Does your programming knowledge help in testing, Alex?
Yeah, it's really helped me a lot. We have studied not just the coding, we have studied a lot about the developer processes. I have learned how to work with a team in different ways. Yeah, we have that waterfall technology of developing, and I knew on my own experience that it's really, really, really bad idea. We have learned how to work on Scrum, on Kanban, any other technologies. We have learned about a lot about databases, about data structures. So yeah, it's really helps me a lot to better understand the product, to better understand the architecture of the program, and yeah, it helps me a lot.
Thanks for sharing, and guys, thank you for your stories, for sharing this feedback. To everybody, we wish you the lovely weekend, and don't play too many games too much. Don't spend too much time playing games. Just go outside and enjoy nice weather. Yeah. And join the next webinars. We will be really glad to see you there. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.